Shit's not charging. That's not good. I got my fucking Entropia Pocket app on my old iPhone, and this shit's starting to not charge. It looks like it's getting a little worrisome. Fuck you, phone. Try to stay on. Yeah. It goes on and on. All night long. Just loading up my Entropia here. Maybe I could use, yep, this one. My computer's so slow. So slow. So I was, I saw this video here in a Discord, and it's gotten lots of views, like 16,000 views or something like that. I don't know who this dude is, but people watch his videos, so I'm gonna watch it. Just waiting for my Entropia to load here. I guess I could pull up my web browser. Maybe I could do it in here. I could, yep. Let's see. Wow.
What makes a MMO controversial? Over the years, there's been many questionable games with dubious practices. Some are seen as outright scams, whilst others are predatory loot box messes. I'm somewhat of a loot box expert myself. But imagine a title which not only promises to be fun, but one where you can actually earn real life money playing their game. In today's video, I want to explore one of the longest running and questionable MMOs.
There's fucking Entropia dancing in the middle there.
WoW times, this MMO is still alive and kicking, and most importantly, making a fat stack of cash at the same time. So what is this mission?
Yeah, right.
I am, of course, talking about
Entropia is making a fat stack of cash.
So if you enjoy questionable MMOs that you've never heard of before, then maybe you'll also enjoy my questionable and unheard of YouTube channel, where I go out my way to play dead and unpopular titles, which I then do video essays for, which nobody watches. Like and subscribe? But what makes a 20-year-old MMO controversial, you might be wondering? On paper, it's a free-to-play sandbox MMO RPG based in space with a player-driven economy. And did I mention that's a real cash economy? And the way they do this is that everything in-game has a monetary value.
Oh, that's nice.
Really?
My mom gave me that.
In-game currency is referred to as PED or PED, which can be exchanged for US dollars at a currency conversion of 10 to 1. And as you can imagine, if you can take money out the game, you sure as hell can put it back in. And therefore, I give you the ultimate...
It's a lot easier to do that, isn't it?
But wait, there's more. Because everything does have a monetary value, it does mean that rare drops almost become a jackpot win.
Emotional. Very emotional.
So if a boss drops rare loot, it could be worth a couple of $100. But at the same time, in order to kill the boss, you may need some expensive gear to do.
He's
so.
not dropping it though. He's giving it to the big boy. Big boy's walking away with it.
Known to drop
Not me.
thousands of dollars to gear themselves up, just so they can go and chase these big jackpot wins.
I like how he got all these
Is seen as a form of.
I really like how he actually captured some scenes with some players. It's not an easy thing to do. It does not look dead in this video.
Dollars to gear themselves up, just so they can go and chase these big jackpot wins, which from a lot of people's perspectives is seen as a form of gambling. But what does Mindark, the developers behind this title, think of those claims?
That you then saying that there is a gambling element in Entropia?
No.
Right.
We have followed.
Hey,
all
bud,
of
where you
the
been all
rules
day?
and regulations
John.
to show, which we have done, that it is a skill-based game.
And that right there was the ex-CEO of Mindark, David Simmons, who quit last year.
Wow.
So is Entropia Universe just a online casino using a MMO as a front, or is there potentially a underrated MMO here waiting for people to pick it up and play? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Wish me luck.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So where might one go to
Another
download
victim.
Entropia Universe, you might be wondering.
Another victim.
Well, where else other than the dark web? A joke, a joke. You just go to their website. Entropia Universe uses a
No, I think
launcher, which of course
this is the most. I think this is the most confusing thing about Entropia. You don't just go to the Entropia website to play Entropia. First, you gotta play Entropia for 6 months, and then build a time machine so you can go back in time, and then know which planet you want to start on, and then you gotta go to a third-party planet partner website and join Entropia through that website. Otherwise, you're gonna start on the wrong planet. And that's the only way I know of to properly select today, Junior, to properly play Entropia and download it, because I really regret going to entropia.com or whatever.
I know, I'm very upset.
Calypso sucks nuts.
I did ask the AI chatbot how many people play Entropia Universe.
I'm sorry, I don't have that information. Is there anything else you'd like to know about Entropia Universe?
But the results were inconclusive. MMO stats did have it down as about 800 players a day, with a grand total of 100,000 players, which I do feel is pretty reasonable. I mean, how else are they going to pull that profit? Once the installer had finished, I had to go away and create an account, and once I'd done that, I was able to log into the game and finally create my character. Nice. I have to say, I was actually pleasantly surprised as to how detailed the character creator was. There were some hairstyles which were locked out, and I assumed that they were available in the cash shop, but to my surprise, you have to unlock them in game. Obviously, you have to use the in-game currency to unlock them, which is technically real-life money, so technically, it is kind of a cash shop. This is going to get confusing. Despite the limited hair choices, I persevered on. And I thought it was only appropriate I make a character that looked like he knew his way around a casino. And I give you...
Oh no, Floppy. This is not a casino.
Your average-looking crypto bro.
I honestly hate it when people refer to Entropia as a casino, because it's not. At all. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of RNG, but it's like you put some pet into a monster, overall you will see the expected returns. You're gonna lose some money. That's how Entropia makes money, or Mindark makes money, obviously. And the intention all along was to make money by selling shit to other players. Like, there's no casino here. There's just dumb people spending all their money on dumb shit. That's all it is. Like, fucking wake up.
Sit there and talk to you about his investments. I'm sure a lot of you thought I was going in a completely different direction to that. One button click later, and I was transported into the world of Entropia. This game has once again surprised me because looking at this, I wouldn't have thought it was 20 years old. I was actually taken back at how nice the graphics look. But let's not jump the gun, because as the old saying goes, you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. First
yeah, that's true.
Was a NPC who greeted me by my full name.
And on that note, I will say a piece of poo rolled in glitter is actually kind of cute. Kinda. I don't know what I'm saying.
Plobby, Plobberton. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to naming stuff, I'm not the best at it. But
what did he say his name was? Who is this guy? What's his name? I missed it.
By my full name, Plobby, Plobberton.
Oh, I fucking missed it again. I suck at this.
Because as the old saying goes, you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. First up was a NPC who greeted me by my full name.
What is it? Plobby, Plobberton. That is a sick name. I like that name. Yeah, that's a good name. It's a really good name. I like it. That's a quality name.
Plobby, Plobberton. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to naming stuff, I'm not the best at it.
I disagree. I think he's fantastic
what you're witnessing here is me going through the start of the tutorial. Sadly, there's no voice acting, so I had to read everything that was presented to me.
John got an A101 from one of his buddies in his house. This is what I was saying the other day, like joining a society changes your game so much. Playing alone is brutal. No one should play alone. Oh fuck, I'm bugged out running away. That's dope, John Leonard. That is dope.
The NPCs went on to explain how I crash landed on the planet, they found me, and they basically got me back up to health. And now they're trying to help me get back on my feet, and to do so, they thought it would be best if they gave me a gun. Apparently, I had crash landed in America. What followed next was a quick lesson on the game's combat, which
low blow.
was a bit odd because you could tab target, but you could also freely aim. I was then informed that the targets I killed dropped shrapnel, which can then be converted into ammo. Something that I never considered was that every time I shot something, that was actually costing me money. I was then told to head down the road to the next quest giver, where I encountered some dinosaurs. So of course, when faced with new life on a strange planet, I decided to shoot the fuckers. I'm not going to lie, this wasn't the most riveting combat.
It is a skill-based game.
It was slightly skill-based in the sense of I had to point and click at the dinosaur,
see what other
but later
scenes
on I
got
found
here.
out I could just literally tab target, which would then lock onto the...
Oh, that didn't work.
Whilst also trying to relive the glory days of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And there's one thought that just wouldn't escape me, and that was the fact that every dinosaur I killed was technically a cash prize. Bear in mind, I hadn't spent any money on this game, so technically every dinosaur was profit. Not a lot of profit by any means, it was like 0.00%, but it was still...
I gotta quickly fix my OBS like a genius midstream and add a black color. I think it would be black. Would I want black behind it? I want to add a color source behind this video. Let's go with white first. I'm gonna bump that all the way to the bottom. Okay. It's probably going to be black. Maybe that would be smarter. Okay. That should be at the bottom. That didn't work. Why? Oh, it's because this is transparent. Right. So instead of that, I'm going to copy this source, paste the source, paste the reference. Can I do that? Paste the reference, and then filters, chroma key, opacity, like that. And then I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, it's not playing.
Profit. The tutorial then took me to an NPC called Rusty.
What the
who
fuck?
freely gave
Cock
me a
sucker!
vehicle.
I fucked it
No
up.
strings attached, just here you go, have a car.
I don't get the joke. Rusty when he sees a
Does
new
anyone
player.
else get the Halo
I
War
don't know.
theme stuff?
I fucked up my OBS now. Look at this. So we'll remove that. Yes. Let that show. This. Cancel. Cancel. Paste reference. And then I'm going to change the filter, the chroma key, get rid of that opacity, and that should fix it. Beautiful. Okay.
In the head when they go to drive a car in a game, or is it just me? Finally, some freedom to explore. And in that exploration, I found out you can't run over mobs. You just go straight through them. Kind of disappointing. I made my way over to the objective, and then probably had one of the most brain-dead moments in my life, which was I couldn't get out of the car. I then sat there for the next 5 minutes pushing literally every button on my keyboard, and I was still stuck in this fucking car. I think this is part of the problem of this game, which is the tutorial, as much as it's there, it is so wordy and lengthy that you kind of just skip past it.
One eternity later.
Whilst I was sat there still trying to figure out the controls, something unexpected happened.
Hello there.
Paste reference. There we go.
Appeared. So I did the one thing I know I'm good at. I begged them for help. But I had to be quick because they were starting to walk away.
I'm in my
no.
car. Broom, broom.
He's gonna get stranded and lost in Tool.
Local chat, so in a panic, I decided to follow them in my car. Remember, kids, this is a video game. If someone ignores you in real life, don't stalk them in your car. Don't ride alongside them, and don't flash your lights at them. It can
That's
be
horrible
seen as
advice.
quite threatening and menacing. However, in this situation, it worked as they gave me the answer I was looking for, and I was actually able to get out of my car.
Nice.
Thank you for your help. With this newfound wisdom, I was finally able to complete my quest. I was now on the last mission.
What a newbie noob.
Me out of the tutorial zone and into the big wide world, where surely I'll be able to make some mega bucks. And admittedly, I was excited by the prospect. So with a skip in my step, I made my way over to Lieutenant Smith, who offered to take me to the mainland, which I gladly accepted. So there I was, on planet Calypso, the main planet of Entropia Universe. In official documentation, it had been stated
I probably won't be on much longer. I'll try and drop in for a bit.
$400 million. And I was interested to see how exactly was this possible.
No worries, John.
When playing a MMO for the first time,
hey,
I tend to stick to the main story quest line.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far.
Board, and then I just go on an adventure. But lately, there is one extra step I've been adding, which is seeing if you can swim at the first possible opportunity.
Amazing.
And what a shocking surprise. A MMO from 20 years ago allows you to swim. Once again, proof as to how...
I'll be honest, I mean, Entropia has a lot of, like, shitty bugs, and there's a lot of things that are, like, just fucked up and not working about it. But, like, 20 years ago, being able to swim was huge. I think what he's not realizing, though, is 20 years ago, we were not on the same engine. And things looked a lot different.
bad New World actually is. The starting area had a few quests to select from. They had your basic kill quest, fetch quest, and some random quests which were reinforcing what you was already shown within the basic tutorial. All the while, at the top of my HUD, I was getting hammered with notifications of other players.
I feel like the first missions, like when you first get on Calypso, that your first like week is pretty fun. There's a lot of missions to do. They're all pretty good. But then after that, there's like nothing. It like quickly turns into fuck all to do.
Amounts of PED. Which, by the way, I couldn't find an option to turn these notifications off. They were just constantly there.
He didn't look very hard. He didn't look very hard.
I think the subliminal messaging eventually worked.
For anyone who doesn't know, you just press escape, go to your options, go to interface, and set a limit to the global ticker. Set it to 500. You see it hard. You don't see it at all, really.
Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm doing myself.
So for all the wrong reasons, I abandoned the starting area questing, and I went off into the big open world to find an adventure. And mainly money. which, as you can imagine, was probably not going to end too well.
No. He's gonna end up stuck at an outpost. Is what's gonna happen, and he's gonna have to call a Calypso rescue team.
That's fine. This is fine. Oh, get away from me! Get away from me!
Oh, jeez.
Fuck off, you stupid chicken! Go the fuck away! Leave me alone.
Oh, jeez.
Can I get down here? Oh,
this guy's in for a rough day.
That's not good. That's not good. Just keep swimming. Come on, just keep swimming.
Oh,
jeez. Off, Mr. Chicken. Just keep swimming. Come on.
This car is not gonna last long.
I'm fucked. I'm okay. I'm okay. So as it turns out, the only thing more pathetic than me were these chicken creature things. But at least we finally know the answer to the question, if a synchronized swimmer drowns, do they all drown? A few lessons were learnt here. Number one, it seems like there is lag on the server, and that might be because there's only one server to choose from, and it's in the Netherlands. Lesson number two is that each area seems to be level locked, so by going to the bigger, badder zone, I was just going to inevitably get killed. So I'd have to be careful as to how I approach enemies. And lesson number three, my car can take damage, which is probably something I should keep an eye on, because I'm sure this will end well. Anyway, Journey of Discovery Part 2 was now underway.
He's already smoking.
It had been over an hour, and so far I'd made 0 friends, 0 money, and almost blew up my car. I had run into other players in the starting area, but none of them
I feel like that's like one of the most important things a new player can do, is like once you get to Calypso and stuff, like pop in a chat and say hello and try to meet people. Because this game, like I always say, social skill is like the most important skill in Entropia.
I figured if I head far enough out, maybe I'll run into like a social player hub and they could help me get set up and start making some mega bucks.
Oh no! This poor guy.
Well, that was the plan anyway, but the first settlement I came across appeared to be some sort of ghost town. One of the biggest sources of income for Entropia Universe is their housing system. They had made millions over the years by selling virtual real estate, as they call it. In 2005, a player mortgaged his home to purchase a virtual property in Entropia Universe for $100,000. He later sold that same property, called Club Never Die, for roughly $635,000.
Sheesh. So what I'd like to know is how much value was in this most recent deal for Mindark to reacquire it. That's what I'd like to know.
Knowing that some of these houses might actually be worth as much as a real life house. But as I said, it was a ghost town, so I didn't stay for long, and I went to the next village over in hope of finding some civilization.
That could be another story.
I always find it strange that you could be in the middle of nowhere on an MMO.
He spent $600,000 on it and then gave it back to Mindark? I mean, they had to give him some money. Like, come on. I mean, I hope he got more than deeds.
And yet you'll still randomly encounter another player. As I got closer, I knew I had a choice to make. I could drive past and leave this person to potentially die, or I could jump out my car and try and give them a hand. And being the hero that I am, I went for option B. And of course, with the enemy being under half health, I figured maybe if I got
at least it's a shared loot mob, and he didn't try this with a random mob and just lose everything.
Needed PED.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yep. Brutal.
So yeah, I died, and the other guy just went on his merry way and didn't think twice about what just happened.
Oh
so
god.
That felt good. But yeah, it's okay. I didn't really lose anything by dying. You just lose durability items, which obviously
welcome to Entropia.
Cost money to repair. But
or disappointment is your reward. They should make that their official slogan.
With my ego just about still intact, I decided to head out again and see if I can find that same player and maybe see if they could help me farm these animals. I figured it'd be a good, easy way to level up and maybe learn a bit more about the game. Now, just a splash of information I need to tell you guys. This game has a auto-run toggle, which you can also use whilst driving a vehicle. And it just so happened,
yeah, you're gonna fly into
feature
stuff.
Switched on,
I do it all the time.
And I might have got slightly distracted whilst going through the complexity of the skill tree.
Yep, that'll happen. Uh-oh.
Which may or may not have been the reason as to why I crashed my car. It wasn't till I respawned that the severity of the situation...
This guy's gonna need a new vehicle right away.
So what you have to understand about the situation...
I knew this whole video was going to be like a bunch of him having a bad time. As soon as he said that he was going to go off the main track and just go exploring, making some money.
Like... I'd gotten myself into is that I'd driven into a high-level area.
Yep.
And with my car...
You're surrounded, buddy.
And me having no money to repair it, or any tools to repair it, I was pretty much stranded. Now, obviously, I have a gun, a map, and 2 legs. So I could always just walk back, right?
Nope.
A reasonable expectation, but unfortunately, this game is a bit more hardcore than that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Now, sadly, I was surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
The nearest settlement over was quite far away, and every time I died, I'd respawn at the nearest outpost, which happens to be this place.
Which AI did I use?
Fuck nowhere, and had no way for me to fast.
I'd have to look. But I can tell you, regardless of which. Let me pause this real quick. Regardless of which AI I used, you can use the CapCut video editor program, which is a program you download onto your computer. It's not like a web browser or whatever. It does have some AI tools. I think I used that for some of the CDF training videos, because from video 1 to video 3 I had been exploring different tools and stuff the whole time, so each one is actually using different tools. The last one though, which I think is kind of my favorite, the very last one with the kid's voice in the beginning and the AI characters, I think maybe I used, I don't know which one I used, but I ended up settling on CapCut. Or CutCap? What is it called? CapCut. Yeah, it's called CapCut, and it's got a lot of good tools in it. It's got some AI characters you can use. It's got some AI text to voice stuff. It's got all the typical video editing stuff you would need, so you can actually do editing yourself as well. Which is the biggest thing, because most of the AI tools, they kind of give you an end product, and you can't really customize it, really. It's basically you use that AI tool, and you get what that AI shits out. And that's kind of shitty. That's no good. But if you use CapCut, you can... What the fuck's on my screen here? Oh, right, because I press pause. Yeah, but if you use CapCut, you can actually control it quite a bit, and it's pretty good. You can choose from a bunch of transitions. It's a free app, but there is a bunch of like paid premium extras that you can get. So if you're rich, you could probably make some pretty premium content with CapCut. But yeah, that's what I'm using now is CapCut, and it's great.
And that was, of course, speak to another player.
And if anyone ever wonders what I'm using for my avatar, that's called VC Face. So let's see. Create new text. Letters. On screen. That's what I'm going to name it. So there's CapCut. And... there. Cool. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's really big. Really big text. Oops. It's kind of dumb. Why does it start so big? The default text is like massive size. There. That's what I use.
Obviously, it's not that deep. It wasn't a problem to speak up in area chat. I love being social in these sort of MMOs. because you learn a lot about the game by doing so. It didn't actually take long for someone to private message me and offer some advice and guidance. And before I knew it, No had offered to come pick me up and take me away from this hellhole. And just by their outfit, I could tell they'd played this game a lot more than me.
Penis!
This distinguished gentleman.
What happened?
Penis! Euphoria's in the chat. I love it. What's up, Euphoria? I'm just watching this new video that was put on YouTube. I guess it got like 16,000 views. So
next was a series of unexpected
he's popular
acts of kindness.
And so far, he's just made all the wrong decisions in Entropia.
First, they gifted me a ship and a bunch of fuel.
Oh, wow.
Bear in mind,
you got
everything
lucky.
in this game has a real money value, and this was worth 10 PEDs, which is about $1. But, I mean, come on. When was the last time a random stranger came up to you and gave you $1? I bet it wasn't recent.
Nope, not very often.
They then decided
that's like a free coffee.
Taking me on a quick tour of the area and show me some places I probably should go visit before I do anything else.
Which videos? Like where a new person like checks out the game and reacts to it, kind of? It's always terrible. They always make it look so bad.
They did take me to a spot where I can get my car repaired, which best of all was done for free.
This one's been pretty good so far. It's been pretty funny. I've had a few chuckles.
And most importantly, they gave me a lesson on how to use a teleporter, which would come in handy later on. Up next, we went to Port Atlantis, where I was advised that a lot of people take their vehicles here to get free repairs. And you might be wondering, why would anyone do anything for free in this game? And it's simply because it's rewarding to do so. When they do these repairs,
Jaedraze's
they
not
up their
on
repair
my
skill.
stream.
At
And he asked
Port Atlantis, we visited the mall, as you Americans say, which consists of player-owned shops, which are not cheap to own, by the way. Me and No then went and done a gauntlet, which is like a daily dungeon, I believe, which promised a decent reward. Well, for me anyway. I think it's safe to say that if I was on my own, I'd have no chance in hell of completing this. But No here took the time to show me the ropes and even provided me with some support by healing me, because I was too stupid to heal myself. We took on the last boss, and would you believe it, we killed it. Go team.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes!
It's not every day that you have an absolute legend like No come along and teach you the game.
Like who?
For
Who
no
was it?
other reason
Who is that?
Than just to be helpful. The fact that they showed me some
tell.
quest givers as well that would be useful for me for leveling up, and they gave me free items, was just, yeah, it was beyond generous. So a big shout out to No, because honestly, without their help, I'm not too sure how far into this game I would have got. But anyway, it was time to part ways.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And I still had a lot more Entropia to explore.
If you're gonna be making any videos or anything, and you like have any questions or anything, if there's anything I can help with, feel free.
You can play however you want. So for the most part, I was traveling around doing quests and just every now and then doing a little grinding just to see if I could farm some material or get a lucky drop. With the game being over 20 years old, it's safe to say there's a lot to see and do, and there's no way I could cover it off in my short amount of playtime compared to the lifespan of the actual game. However,
he is annoying too.
Would I be if I could create a pros and cons list? I'm actually going to change it around and start off with the negatives. Now,
he's going to change it around and start with the negatives. That's great.
The thing I soon realized is that a lot of the quests that I was doing, they were pretty useless.
Uh-oh. So he's done a few quests right at the beginning, and he says they don't feel very rewarding. It's not going to get any better.
Like, they would level me up in a particular skill which I have no interest in, but I wouldn't get any decent rewards from them. And this happened quite a few times to my frustration. Which is a shame because although there is no voice acting, the dialogue around the quests themselves wasn't that bad.
Oh, this pipe is gonna be the death of me. I will say, I really wish there was voice acting, because I'm very guilty of just skipping through all the long texts. But there's a lot of really good lore. Like, the few times I've sat there and read the dialogues, there's usually a lot of really good lore. but you just skip it all.
In fact, there was a bit of quirkiness to some of the quests. For instance, the one I was doing now, called Pub Crawl, had me go bar to bar in different cities trying to get a beer. But the catch was all the bars had run out of beer. So eventually,
that was a
I'd
fun
gone to
mission.
all of them, asking for a beer, traveling around the map, and then I got home and it was like, yeah, we don't have beer. Sorry for wasting your time. Here.
You never did what? The bar crawl or what? I did the bar crawl. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of stupid though.
Let's level up a skill slightly. I mean, maybe it's just because it's early game and they don't want to give you the money, or maybe it's because they're not stupid and they're not going to give you money for questing. I honestly don't know what the answer is. I'd like a vet player to tell me if it's just my imagination or whether it is designed this way. Next on the list is
read the mission text. Yeah, like I usually skip it. I've only read it a couple times, and I think that was like in my first 2 weeks of playing when I was like brand new and I was like really interested in the lore. But you know, now that I'm playing, I just click next. I'll read like 3 words and then I get bored as fuck. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, I don't care. But there is a lot of good lore. If it was like voice acted, it'd be cool, because there's a lot of good lore in this game that you can't really, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know any of the lore, but I know it's there. And the shitty thing is you can't really, like, there's no way to go back because you can only have one account, so you can't really get to know the lore too well. If you skip it, you like, it's one and done. That was slow.
Is the combat. It felt very shallow and like there could have been more to it. With the game being as old as it is, the developers obviously opted for tab targeting, but it's quite literally a case of you tab onto the target and you right click on your mouse.
I feel like if in another universe, let's say hypothetically Mindark never created Entropia in 2003 or whatever, let's say they started creating it today, I think they would have went a totally different route, and it wouldn't be just tab targeting. Maybe they would do some like auto button like most MMOs, but I don't know.
And
I mean, back in 2003, you couldn't really do much more than that.
Does all the work for you. Dodges are automatic and are based off your stats. And to be honest, when it comes to,
I mean, you look at this is like this is in RuneScape's prime time. You know, like there was no other games that really had.
It doesn't seem to make much of a difference.
Much more.
I think the worst thing for me,
you know, there was World of Warcraft, I guess.
Use
but
free look and shoot enemies.
Dota was in 2000. I haven't.
You're making
beta was in 2000. Yeah.
Also, when switching weapons,
it's old as fuck.
While the healing orb things I have, it was really slow and unresponsive. Obviously, I can't comment on the end game combat, but from a new player experience, it felt really slow and clunky. And to be perfectly blunt,
it always
like
will.
You only had one ability to spam. Something else that really annoyed me about
that's
the
only
game
thing you can do to make it more fun is
to
use other shit, and it's always going to be stale.
The amount of times my car, buggy, whatever you want to call it, would get stuck going up a hill, it felt worse than Skyrim. Oh hi, Sawman here, and I'm 1,000 feet up in the air on my horse in Skyrim. But not only that, the fact that I had a spaceship, and even then, it was so slow to get from point
That was a
A
bad,
to
desperate
B.
cut for like a meme. That was really desperate. That didn't even fit. I don't know.
It really did feel more of a chore to go traveling as opposed to an actual adventure. I have played some complex MMOs in the past and they've had better tutorials than this. This game really does throw you in the deep end, and if you enjoy Googling everything and anything because you can't figure stuff out, then this certainly is the game for you. And the server lag, I honestly don't know where it comes from. I have good internet.
Yeah, that was
I have
really
good
dumb.
PC,
that was really
I usually am able to play on North American servers.
Not a fan.
But the amount of stutters and rubber banding I had honestly makes me question where in the world this server even is based.
Okay, so
now,
this isn't a server issue. This isn't server lag. This is not server lag. This is CryEngine being a piece of shit. Is what it is.
And amount of game time I had. These are the standout issues I had with the game itself as a MMO. In regards to the monetization, shall we call it, I'm going to have a separate section for that because there's a deep rabbit hole that we need to dive into. But before we do that, there are some pros I want to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think there's usually much like server lag. That's usually not the issue because the servers are decent. They are maybe all the way in Holland. Like if you're in the West here, there might be sometimes, but it's not like there's a lot of people. And the servers are separated to like areas, kind of. So like, it's only bad when you only notice it when there's like 60+ people or like on a random day where the server's just like the gerbils are tired. You know, like the gerbils are kind of like, it's a Friday and the gerbils are like, oh, okay. Or maybe like a Wednesday.
There is a lot of innovation in a roundabout way. One thing I really love to see were how other players had customized their characters. Their outfits were certainly outfits to be seen. But what I actually liked about this was that in a roundabout way, these outfits were all earned by playing the game. They're all in-game rewards. People will look at your outfit and they'll know.
I don't know.
Know
it's a lot
how much hard work
you just put money and you can buy pretty much anything
to look the way that you do. None of this bullshit you just bought off the cash shop. Oh no, you went and you farmed your heart out to look like
that is true.
Whatever this thing is. Either way, it gives me a real Second Life vibe. It adds to the social aspects of this game. The depth and width of the skill system was also very impressive. They were done in such a way that you couldn't level up everything. You had certain ones that you'd focus.
No, see, it's done in such a way that you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Certain profession.
It's what it is.
The graphics were really good too. I know
Bastards
they have been upgraded over the year, and they're now sat on CryEngine, I believe. And there's even talks of pushing it to UE5. Whether that actually comes to fruition or not is a different story, but yeah, I was impressed. 20 years old, and let's be honest, it looks a lot better than RuneScape.
Yeah,
and one of the best features about the game is the social aspect. What I'm talking about is just how willing some players were to help you out, talk to you, and just generally give advice when, do you know what, they didn't have to. I thought there'd be a real icy vibe from the community, given the fact that you're all trying to earn money essentially. But no, everyone seems very friendly, which was a surprise, but a pleasant one at that. And I know I talked about how pricey player housing was, but if we took the price tag away and the fact that they had this system 20+ years ago, where you could decorate your own house and fill it with in-game rewards, it is very innovative and it's a good system to have. And my last positive is just how batshit crazy the game is. Like the world record.
That's my favorite part of the Entropia. It's fucking weird.
Since day one. And I hadn't even touched upon the fact that there are different.
But I will say also that's mostly thanks to Neverdie. I mean, he gets a lot of hate, but he adds some cool shit.
With one of them being themed around rock and roll. Honestly, whatever they're smoking over there at Mindark, send it my way. So yeah, overall, as an MMO, it has some very redeemable qualities about itself. It's by no means an unplayable, horrible mess, and the fact that the community is still there and somewhat thriving just goes to show there is an enjoyable game to be played.
Yeah!
But look, there's no point tiptoeing around it anymore, so let's just address the elephant in the room.
Cuddly
or
puppy.
the several elephants in the room. I mean, it might as well be a whole fucking zoo in this room.
Uh-oh. The dark side of Entropia.
So there is a lot of things in Entropia that I consider very questionable.
This poor guy, nobody showed him the boo room.
And somewhat shady, if not a grey area. For starters, let's start with something light. In the UI, there is a pop-up at the top, which will tell you when players earn PED. The pop-up in itself isn't offensive, it's the fact that you can't turn this off. It is constantly there telling you when players are winning big. Now obviously this is a psychological tactic to get you to also want to win big and potentially have to deposit money in order to do so. I just want to point out other MMOs do have a similar practice where if they win big in a loot crate.
And people always forget, like you play World of Warcraft, how fucking much money does that thing cost? Right, you gotta pay like $15 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is for your subscription. So that's 200 ped. You already paid, you know, $40 for the first game. That's 400 ped. Then you pay another $40 for the next expansion. Then now you're on BC. You're at fucking 1200 ped already. Then you paid for Wrath of the Lich King. Then you paid for fucking Miss Pandaria. Then you paid for, you know, Dragonflight. Then you paid for this. And you also have bought, you know, 10 fucking character transfers and level 80 characters boosts because you're a noob. So, I mean, really, is Entropia expensive? Or are you just making bad money decisions? I don't know. But like the way I see it is, I spent a lot more on other games. I mean, there's Valorant. I bought one skin on that for like $45, and that is essentially one PNG that I do not own. I didn't buy the PNG. I bought the rights to use it in their online video game at their discretion, and they can ban my account at any time. So it's like a rented PNG for 450 ped. So, again, I mean, and that's one of the most popular games right now. And that's just one skin. There's skins that are like $200. And it's not like CSGO where you can trade them. So, like, Entropia is kind of cheap in a lot of ways.
It will pop up as a notification for
it's expensive. Yeah, I'm making excuses.
But you can turn these off for the most part.
But still,
so that's the first bit
it can be cheap.
The second bit of shade is the fact that when you go to withdraw your money, there's a slight caveat involved. For starters, there's a handling fee, which means you won't get the full amount that you're trying to withdraw. Secondly, you might get charged a bank fee because it is an international bank. They're sending it from Sweden, I do believe.
But I mean, I do feel like I get more value out of my money when I put it into Entropia versus when I buy a gun skin in Valorant or I buy some treasure hunter keys in RuneScape or whatever it is, or buy a subscription in WoW. You know what I mean? Like, that money all feels like it's just gone. You spent it, you fucked up, and you get to play this game and try to make the best out of it now. But at least in Entropia, you feel like you get some back. I mean, we all know we're probably not ever gonna, but at least we can make the excuse.
It can take up to 50 days. Oh, and I've got one more.
Or longer.
To withdraw a minimum of $100. Why? Like, what?
Because they don't. Legal? Because they don't have the money. That's all it is. They just don't have it.
About this whole title is the fact that they never even label it as gambling.
We have followed all of the rules and regulations to show.
Okay, but it's not gambling. You put money in,
and you might
they
think,
take a
well,
percentage.
What's the big deal? Well, the big
returns.
deal is when it is considered gambling, there's also a lot of rules and regulations you have to follow. For instance, in the UK, you have to be 18 to gamble. And yet, for almost 20 years, Entropia Universe, they didn't really care about your age. And that's because it's not gambling, remember?
We've changed the
Listen, if this was gambling, we would probably get some better rates.
How long was Entropia operating with the minimum age of players not being 18?
We changed that last year.
Wow. Oh, so 2003 to 2019.
Oh, wait. You don't have to be 18? Did I hear that right? Is that what he just said?
Entropia Universe now, it's 18 years old.
How long was Entropia operating?
18 years old.
They didn't really care about your age. And that's because it's not gambling.
You need to be at least 13.
We changed the minimum age.
Oh, it used to be 13.
It's 18 years old.
I thought it was always 18 plus. Huh.
How long was Entropia operating with the minimum age of players not being 18?
We changed that last year.
Wow. Oh, so 2003 to 2019.
You also need to have a gambling license in the UK if you want to host any sort of gambling. And this is to make sure the games are fair and crime-free. In the UK, gambling businesses will need to provide customers with options to opt out so they don't get spammed with products. You know, maybe like a pop-up box which constantly goes on your screen to tell you that someone won PED. And there's also regulations about vulnerable players. For instance,
okay, but again, he didn't find the button to set the ticker limit. So you can set a limit on your global ticker.
Over £70,000 in 10 hours is something that shouldn't happen. There should be blockers
as soon as my computer loads,
to stop players going over a certain threshold.
You
so
fucking piece of shit, slow computer!
They want to avoid
I want to punch you in your face.
The game is actually some form of gambling, and I can only assume the reason they don't want to call it gambling is because they don't want to lose a chunk of vulnerable players who are potentially putting way too much money in that they can't afford.
I'm just gonna stop him right there. Nobody would fucking care. If they started saying, okay, sure, you're gambling. Sure, let's just call it gambling. We're going to classify it as gambling now. I don't think any Ubers are going to be like, what? They said what? I'm getting out of here. Although it would affect taxes and shit. So, I mean, there's that.
Well, maybe. That's what it looks like from the outside.
But still.
Maybe they have a better reason. Despite all the shadiness though, I do actually have a controversial take about this game, which I'm sure no one will expect. But here it goes. I don't think...
Yeah, notice you don't see a global ticker on my screen going off the whole time.
Now hear me out. In theory, you can play this game for free. An in-game
oh, there's one, 561, because I had the limit set to 500 now.
Which you
someone told me to set it because it was annoying
to
them.
Buy in-game rewards. Whereas modern MMOs such as The Elder Scrolls Online, Black Desert Online, or even World of Warcraft, you have to actually
he's still talking
money to get additional items
he's giving his controversial take on Entropia now. You have it turned right off? See, I didn't know you could turn it right off, but I knew you could change it, you know, 500 ped, 2000 ped, none right there. Yeah. Oh no, that would show you everything. So you can set it, and if you set it to fucking 2000 ped, you're not going to see it very often. Yeah, 2K. Yeah, I mean, you're only going to see it when you want to see it. I mean, I guess we kind of want to know when, you know, someone gets a big find. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know you pointed out that housing in this title is very expensive. I mean, hell, they have a few world records. But guess what? In the Elder Scrolls Online, they have several houses you can only earn from buying them from the in-game cash shop. And would you believe it, they don't go cheap. It's the same with mounts and outfits, and obviously they have loot crates. Even games as old as Neverwinter and Star Trek Online have those too. So yes, I would say that Entropia Universe is.
I love housing. I'm a huge housing guy, and like,
but at the same
not
time,
so much like role playing stuff, but I love like the housing and like, you know, creating your little, all the customization you can do and all that shit, or like Coke Music and Habbo Hotel. That shit was lit. I loved that.
You could say that about a lot of MMOs out there on the market. All of them tend to have some sort of gambling involved, and it all costs money. I think there's a difference between risk versus reward and gambling, mainly whether you have to use your wallet or not. So I'm not against elements of gambling.
I haven't played Sims since like, what was it, PlayStation 2, I think?
And being in games,
and all I'd really do is I'd end up accidentally murdering my Sims, and I'd never get far. They'd just die. They'd get like stuck in the pool. It sucked. Made me depressed.
I'm just against having to use my credit card in order to win. I think as we evolve as a player base, we look for more innovation when it comes to gaming, be it the way we play or the things that we can earn in game. I don't necessarily think Entropia Universe.
Oh my god, I just noticed this guy thinks.
Compared to some of the other MMOs out there, but I do think it was ahead of the curve when it comes
He thinks.
to digital currency. Technically, most MMOs you could sell gold to other people for real life money. You can even sell accounts. It's just that Entropia Universe has more official methods as to how to do it, and they take a cut of the price. I think as well, with the rise of NFTs and crypto, there's going to be a lot worse MMOs out there than Entropia Universe when it comes to trying to take your money. I think if Entropia Universe came out and said, yes, the game involves gambling, and then proceeded to follow the rules and regulations set out by each country, then no one would actually care. However,
no one would care, but that's a huge fuck. I don't know if he understands how much of a pain in the ass that would be.
Use loopholes and avoid using specific labels just so you can avoid being regulated and maybe having to pay an extra fee.
Oh, that's right. You hit that big hop. How much was that hop? 2,800, if I remember right. On a mollusk, this guy, Corey Stepp, Johnler, fucking 2,800 mollusk guardian yesterday.
Up to criticism.
That's huge.
So would I recommend that you play Entropia Universe?
Sold 2K shrapnel at 106.6%.
It's very customizable.
And you save the rest for ammo. That's a lot of ammo, buddy. And you got that knife too.
Its sole purpose is to get you to spend money.
86 ped or something like that.
Playing, then you might get hoodwinked.
That was a nice
And on that bombshell, I'm going to end the video there. If you want to see me play more MMOs like this, by all means, comment and suggest.
I think this will probably be the last video of yours I watch. My cute little puppy friend.
So shout out to how to make lettuce. They also have a YouTube channel which is dedicated to helping new players of Entropia. So check that out if you're interested.
Now I gotta find
As
my
always, thanks
web
for
browser
watching.
tab so
Leave a like to help the algorithm and subscribe if you want to see more of my content.
That's the most controversial MMO ever made video by Sawman UK. He's, I guess, got 33.8 thousand subscribers, and it's gotten 22,000 views. It had 16,000 views when I started playing this video. It has gotten almost double the amount of views throughout the duration of one video. That is crazy. I think that's pretty crazy. Wow. It was a good video. It was a good video. I will say he was kind of boring and monotone. I have no idea who he is either. I've never heard of him. Oh, this is kind of, see, yeah, this is a relief, isn't it? It's kind of like some medicine for your ears. Bikinis. I love it so much. It's like the best thing I've ever heard on a Twitch stream. I'm gonna go kill some little robots and gather up some newbie guns. I should get John there to sell me some. I've been saying that for days. Do you? Where are you? I'm gonna shoot a couple of robots now because I have already teleported there. But yeah, where are you? I'll come grab some guns. But it depends. Like, I don't know how many you have. I'm a little scared. I don't have a lot of ped. I can't afford 500 ped of Rubios and Lance heads right now. Too poor. Oh snap, that's not my John. I don't know where any of my attachments are either. There we go.
My son, you're throwing your life away with these drawings.
My son, you're throwing your life away with this game. This is true.
You should be focusing on your music. You have great talent.
Where is my Z12? I'm always losing my amps and shit. Carry too many guns on me. What am I doing? Bro, I have no idea where it is. I'd really wish they would integrate the item list on the website into the game so you could just like find an item in game. It's like I'm missing my zinc amp, but I know it's here somewhere. Maybe it's in storage for some reason. Man, I'm gonna have to like go to the Entropia website and fucking like find my item.
Drop your fucking load. Digital connection, ones and zeros intertwined. Algorithms acting up, hard and heavy by design. Slaves to the rhythm of this technologic dream. Now grab me by my heart and make me fucking scream. Automated slut and electrifying bliss as our bodies intertwine in this digital abyss. You're buried into me, wired right into my code. Put in my hard drive.
Man, I think I'm actually gonna have to like look through my the website, find that shit. That's annoying as fuck.
Your inhibitions and don't be such a fool.
I need a coffee so bad. That sounds so nice. game crashed. Ugh. Sucks. Come get it. Ugh. Euphoria, I would drink your coffee so hard. I'll be honest. I would drink the hell out of your coffee. A little bit of sugar and cream. What would you put in that coffee? What do you make? How do you make your coffee? A little bit of sugar, a little bit of cream. That sounds good. Not gonna lie, right now I could go for a nice warm cup of Euphoria coffee. Where is? I'm looking for shit. I'm always looking for something.